Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
There are two ways for creating the record, that is, manage out-of-page structure and import foundation data. Today we will be seeing how the objects has been migrated. There are certain organization structures which has been migrated from FO, that is, foundation object, to a new object that is called as a metadata framework. It is called as a metadata framework or the MDF object or the generic object. These are the names which is being called. Under these DF objects, we have the list of objects that has been migrated, most importantly the legal entity, business unit, division, department position, job classification. These are some important organization structure which has been migrated to the MDF. Now, when it has been already migrated to MDF, these objects are nowhere been available in the XML also. Because from the XML also it has been moved out. Where these objects were defined, they have been moved out from two places, where it is created and where it is defined from the XML, that is corporate data model. There also it is not available, and for creating the record that is earlier with manage out of a structure, from there also it has been removed. And when it has been created, moved into a new object. They also created a configuration tool in the front end that is known as a manage data. The managed data is one way of creating and maintaining all MDF objects. We can able to see what are the objects, records which we have created or which has been maintained. For creating the records or maintaining the records, we are using the managed data. For bulk records, we are using import and export data for import for MD5 objects. Defining the objects. Now it is not associated with XML. It is linked with the new object, a new configuration tool that is known as a configured object definition. When we start with defining that object for the MDF, we will come to the configured object definition in the front end and we will discuss in detail. At this point of time, we are only discussing how for the creation of the records. Yesterday we have completed FO, that is foundation. Today we will be planning to complete the MDF also. For creating the records, there are two methods, that is manage data and import export data. Any questions here? I'm going into the system. I hope I shifted my screen. Is it visible? I'm going into the home page. The configuration tool which I'm using is manage data. I go to manage data. After clicking on manage data, I can see this search options. Number of records, and if you want to go and create a new one. If we go and select search option, there are a lot of standard as well as MDF objects will be there. We can able to see, most importantly, the organization structure. From an organization structure point of view, we have legal entity. When I go into a legal entity, and if I want to take any legal entity, Because if I'm taking a legal entity which I have created, when you go and see the legal entity, you can see this legal entity is a MDF object. And this is the record for that particular MDF object which you are seeing here. That is one thing. Under this legal entity, you can see these are the standard fields. What are the fields? Are there? Start data, we have a code. We have a name, description, status, standard, weekly, hours, currency. We have official language, country. All these are the standard fields. Are there? Earlier, this object and the fields were associated with the XML before migration. After migration, now these fields are maintained in configure object definition for all the objects legal entity. If you are taking legal entity, if you are taking for business unit division department, these every objects, it will be associated with the configure object definition. And this tool is also available in the front end. There is nothing for the MDF where we need to go into the provisioning. Everything is available in the front end only in terms of foundation. Object. Still we have that XML from where we are defining the foundation of it. Otherwise, all the MD objects are available in the front end system. Here also the same thing we can able to see. There are certain requirements which are coming up for the MDF, where certain entities are there. And if you want to deactivate or inactivate those entities because the customer is merging or stopping that entity from this particular effective date. If that is the case, how to go and inactivate it? For that, we should have an organization structure. First of all, we should also analyze these entities connected with what all objects which we need to it is connected. And for going for inactivation, that is not a big thing. We should not go from do, from take actions. We should go to the insert new record. After inserting new record, you have a status here. You can make the status as an inactive and you can save it. The creation record will be there and we have an inactivation record will be there. Is it clear? Yes, that is the best practice. You should not overwrite it because by mistake, if we have overwrite make collection, we have made it inactive. We don't have any sort of backup also. And always make sure that you take a screenshot whenever you are making some changes to be in safe site in a real time. That is one thing because we also need to prepare a configuration document. Step by step. And that we need to sometimes. We have some ticketing tools. I told you we have some ServiceNow or Jira ticketing tool, from where the tickets are being generated and assigned there. We need to update the status and also we can upload the document also. It is good thing that if we are preparing a configuration document and we are updating it, that this is the process which we have followed. That is one thing because you are giving if you're just updating a final result in the ticket, the customer wants to know what you have done actually. What is the process you followed? It is always good to prepare the document and import it. And if I go to the business unit and if I take a record here, here you can see for the business unit also, we have a fields, standard fields are there. And the standard fields, you can see the start date, business area ID, area name, description, status. These are the standard fields and we can also see every object. Again, it is associated with another object. There are two objects which are associated. These association, we are doing it in the configure object definition because that is the place we are defining that object. Got. Maybe in SAP HR, you would have gone with the relationship between the object, right? In the organization management, the same thing which we are doing it in the success factor where we are doing it in configure object definition, where we call as an association among the two objects. How to configure it? After the configuration, we can see these. These objects are associated. Whatever records you are creating, that record will be linked with that particular entity record. Got. Now I'm just going into the another part, that is division. Let me take division. We have started code name status. Again, here you can see, this is the standard fields are there. And here you can see the association is there. And this association division is connected with associated with the business unit as well as the legal entity. How many ways you can do the association, that will start when we will discuss more into the configure object. Similarly, you can see here, this is the translation. When I go here, you can mention the translation also in the other languages. That is one thing. And again, if I go to department, why I'm showing you, because we should know each and every structure. Most importantly, when I'm going, when you go into the department, we can able to see ID name description. You have a cost center also. You can see an association and you have association division, legal entity and the business unit. You can see a translation you have for department name and for the description. How it is coming? Because we have configured it in the configure object definition. That is the thing. These options are coming here. And it is always a best practice to take as a start date as 11-1900. Got. Then one important thing. Whenever see in the future, whenever you are hiring or whenever you have created a pay component for manage of the pay structure, and if the pay component is not showing in the employee profile, the reason is that you need to map or link that pay component or that event reason to that particular country. Otherwise, it will not be showing. We have an option here. When we go to, let me go to country region, and suppose if I'm selecting a country. Here I'm selecting a country. When I go and select a country, we can see what are the. We can go and see take action. You can see what are the pay components which are linked to with this particular country. Got this also additionally. I'm showing you because we sometimes what happen. You create a pay component and it is not reflecting in the employee profile. The reason is that after creating the pay component, also we need to link that component or map that pay component to that particular country. Otherwise, it will not be showing. We have to go to the country region and we need to link it. Here you can see the pay component. It will be, you can add that particular figure. Similarly, we have an event reason. Whatever action which we are doing, that is called as an event. In SAP R we call as an action, here we call as an event. Every event will be having some reason. That is an event reason. That event reason also we need to specify here. For that particular country, I am taking the country here. You can see for India. These are why I am saying is that while doing the hiring or do, if you are performing some action, if the error is coming, that event reason is invalid, it is not a map with that particular country, then it will indicate that it is not linked here. Configuration is not done. Then you need to come to manage that country region and select that particular country. This is case for the pay component as well as for the event. Got. This is one thing and fine. And then if, because I have already created a legal entity, you can able to go and create a legal entity. What I will do, I will show you how to go and create a department because legal entity I have already created. And start date. I need to select 1900. Department, ID name description. Let's take a department. And I'm just selecting. If I want any translation of the language, I can able to select. Otherwise, I can select all, copy this and I can paste it here. Cost center, also I have created it. You can see cost center also I have created. You need to create a legal entity. Then you need to create a business unit, division, department, cost center also. We need to go and create. Apprentices detail I'm not taking here. I can delete it. That is not required for division. Legal entity business unit you can see here. These are linked with associated with this department. Division, I can take this one legal entity business unit. And now you can see I have taken a start date, ID name, description, status, cost center, division, legal entity and the business unit. And I can click on save. Now I created a department. Any questions here? No, but we need to create the structure in this way that we need to create a legal entity first, then we need to create a business unit. When I create a legal entity, there is no association. If you go and see here, when I go and create a legal entity, There is no association. But after creating the legal entity, you need to create a location, because in the location there is association with the legal entity. First, after creating the legal entity, you can create a location, and after that, when you go into the business unit, you can see I have associated with the legal entity. Got. Same thing with the division cost center and the department also. Got. I won't be creating all the entities because it is a very straightforward process. You can go here. When I'm going and creating a legal entity, you select here. You can specify the date as 1700, code name, Distepsus, standard working hours, currency, country. Wherever you are maintaining the same one country, maintain the same country at everywhere and click on the same. Your entity will be created in the system. Same way, you can go and create a business unit also. Business unit start date also I need to take as LN 1900. Then we can able to take as an area ID name description, and there is an association with the business unit and the legal entity. Just give me a moment. There is some rule which is there. That is the reason it is triggering. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you tell me before going into the another method. By the time, let me remove this option. Why I have removed it? The reason was that here it was generating the automatic number. That also in the coming sessions, I will tell you how we can able to configure it. Once it has been done, then when I'm just refreshing it, it would have removed. That I just removed it. This is something like after doing the configuration. Don't keep the configuration like this, otherwise it will hamper to the other participants or the traders. One method I shown you to the department how to create, and we can able to go and search for the records also. Can you see here? These are the records which has been created for the business unit. Now for going and creating the bulk records, we can go to import. Import and export. Import and export data. There you have options. One is download template. One is import data. We will go and click on download template. For downloading template, you need to ask for the January content. January content means the MDF object, right? Here, what is the MDF object which you are doing? Department, right? Selecting the department and input the dependency as no, because if any other files are there that will not be downloaded, we will go and click on download. Once it has been downloaded, let me see. Just renaming it. I think the screen is not visible, right? I will share my screen. Is the sheet visible for you? Here also, you can see two headers. Are they right? This header and this header, everything is visible. Again, I have not discussed the XML, but I will go and discuss the XML also for you people. When we are defining the objects and the fields in the XML for foundation, every field will be having two things. One is the ID and one is a label. The ID and the code is the standard one. And the label is something which we are creating or we can able to customize it. The first part which is showing this ID, that is the standard one. And the second thing which is showing here, that is the label one. Both will be showing. Don't get confused here. Here we have to specify the start date, department ID, then the name in English default value. This is not required. We can, because this is the translation. That globe icon which you had seen then after the description is also not required. Status, we can see the status, what is the status. If it is active for inactive for I, and then we have the cost center ID also, which we need to update here. For that, what I will do, I have another sheet. Let me open that sheet also. Can you see here the record which has already been filled up earlier? What I will do, I will just copy it and just rename that value. That's how we can see. Here always the start date will be MDDY 199. That is the start date which we are keeping. And this is something which I will remove it. And then can you tell me any department? Anybody can help me out. HAR we have done, admin. We are just writing any other department. And just scroll down. Here it is for admin. This one sailed. Active. If you want to add the cost center also, we can able to add it. Otherwise, we don't have to do anything. We can able to save it. This are minimizing it. And I will again go back into the system. Select import. General object department. File encoding. We should take a duty of it. Pause time. Here also we have a full part and we have an increment. Also, we have a full part and we have an increment. As we don't have any data in the system, we can go ahead for the full part. We can go ahead with the full part. And last, we are not to choose. We need to choose the file. Choosing the file, scroll down. This is the file, right? Department. Open it and you may need to validate it. Here also you have two options. Validate import, right click on validate it. You can see import request has been submitted. What do you need to do? Duplicate the screen. And go to monitor job. And can you see here the department MDFF import validation has been submitted. Can you see here? Here in the report we can able to see total how many has been processed and how many has been passed and failed. Can you see here? If you again, is it visible? Screen is visible. This validation it will show. And when you click on the download status, you can download the log here. You got this. Can you see here the screen? It should come like this. Once it is showing that the validation is correct, then again come back to the screen here, import export. And already the file is being chosen. We need to be able to import. Again we can see here, this is validation. Again we refresh it. The import also will be showing it. Can you see here? Imp. Second one. Previous one was this one validation, right? You can see this is validate. This is import. Can you see that? And then when you scroll down here, you can able to go and click and then download the import here. You can see the import was successfully completed. Can you see here? In other way we see if you are getting some error. Suppose you have done some 10 cases and for 2 cases has been failed. The reason also will be specifying why the 2 cases have been failed, and it will help us to rectify that particular file. Then after checking this, we will again go back here into Manage Data and we can go to Department. And the scope. This one, right? Right. The admin was there. I think the admin was there. One was admin, one was sales. I think this one, first one. Here also the date also will be reflecting. Can you see the date also? It is showing here. Similarly for the sales also. Well, here also it is showing. 2 departments we created with the help of import and export data. That is one method, and 1 department we created with the help of manage data. All the 3 records. All the 3 records for the department, it is showing in the manage data and the department. Got. One method is this and another method is import and export. Similarly, you can go and create. You start with the legal entity, then business unit, then division, then department, then location, cost center. These are the important things which we need to go and create. And after that, you need to go and create the job classification also. We need to go and create a job class. Let me create a job classification, and after that, let me create a position. That is another topic. And then we go and do the hiring. I was discussing that. We have completed the foundation and MDF object creation with both the methods. Any questions from your end? After creating the structure, we also need to create the job classification. I already created a job classification. You can see. After this, we need to go and create a position. What I can do, I can take this. Job. Copy. And while going and creating a position, I can go and click on the position. Now you can see the position, how to create a position. For that, I need to take the start date. If customer is coming up with a particular start date, we can go and take that date. Otherwise, we can go with the standard date. Job code, just paste it here. You can see it is already showing. We need to select the position. I can select Senior Engineer C&I. And copying this and pasting it here for the job. Now you can see in the position while creating the position. While creating the position, you can see all the structures are mapped with the position. Can you see here? That is the reason we need to create the structure first the record. That is the reason I completed that foundation and MDF. Now, once you create a structure, you need to create a position. I have created a company here. I will be taking that particular company business unit. I will be taking that business unit division. Why I am taking it? Because I have already created it. Similarly, you need to also create the same. Then location. I will create this. For sector. Pay grade also, let me select the pay grade. Otherwise, doing the hiring, it will ask you the mandatory fee. FT, I will be taking the fee 1. Scroll down. Employee class active. The regular temporary, the regular. Standard weekly hours. Let's take 40 hours. To be hired as yes. And everything we have already taken. Even for the mandatory fees also and for the not mandatory fees. We have already taken all the details on 1900 and then click on save. You can see the position is created. Got. After creating the position, what we need to do? Keep this in mind. This is a position for hiring. What are the methods we are seeing for creating the user? This manage data? No. Creating user manage data. It is for MDF. Creating introduction to master AC in a UDF. One method is there and I told you the full methods are there. The full methods are coming under which section for HR data? When we started with Employee Center, like all you know, Employee Center is divided into two parts. What is HR data and one is foundation? Right? We started with the foundation and we come. We have seen for creating the records foundation MNDF we completed. Now we are going into HR data. For creating the HR data, there are 4 methods. 2 methods we have seen, UDF and provisioning. From the provisioning, third method is there that is called as a add new employee. Add new employee. Add new employee functionality. When you're going into the add new employee functionality, some changes we need to do. Why we need to do the changes? I will tell you when we are taking a hiring date. Let's take the hiring date something as 2020. And let's take that. I'm taking that company. What is the company? PowerMac. Now event is when I'm selecting the event, it is showing no data. Our Mac is the company means it is a legal entity, right? When we created the legal entity, when I go here, legal entity. And when I go to the PowerNet, I'm showing you because this thing you should also know when I create the legal entity. You can see the country is there. Every country will be connected with some event result when I go here into country region. Going to make direction. And here we can select as new hire. This one. And we just save it. The country region we have mapped with the event result as new hire. Now after that, when you go here, can you see it is showing? Now if you are going with any country like US or any particular country for the hiring, you have to go to the country region and map that event. After going, because it is a mandatory field, event result, then we need to take a standard template and click on continue. In add new employee functionality, we have 4 sections. Can you see here? UDF, you are only giving in the basic information. We were able to create a record, but other sections are blank. Here we will be going and filling all the sections one-to-one basis. Tell me you are having some doubts. In the end, regarding the event reason, if you are selecting the reason as new hire, does it mean that we can use this country for only hiring? I mean, if we now you have this position, you added and we are hiding. But you don't like, and if you turn, it happened. No, I didn't get you. You have created a position. You are telling that we have created a position and after that for the hiring. Now, when we are going for the hiring with a tool, this add new employee functionality. It is a tool which is connected with the Employee Center. If Employee Central is not implemented in your company, we will be using UDF for migrating the data. But if Employee Central is implemented, then we can use add new employee functionality. Now coming into the add new employee functionality, we can see event reason is a mandatory field. When we are going with the add new, you can see a pop-up window was showing. Well, you have a hire date company event reason and the template. When we are selecting a company, that is the reason I went into manage data and show you that particular company is connected with a particular country. Yes, for that country. If the event reason is not mapped, then while selecting event reason, it will show us no data. For all countries, we need to go and select. If it is for the multiple countries, every country, we need to map it. My question is, we are actually well, if we have to create a new employee, we need an event reason. If you want an event reason, you go to the country and reason and you select the reason. Now here you've selected new hire. My question is what now? Only now because you're hiring new hire, you have taken event reason as a new hire. We are hiring a new person. Finally, what you are doing? Finally, we are performing an action right. This is also a topic and event reason. That is in the later part of the sessions. Whenever you are performing some action, that action in SuccessFactor, it is known as event. And every event, there will be some reason behind it. That is the reason that event is offering. You are hiring somebody. What is the reason? It is a new hire, it is a contractual hire. That is also defined it in the at a place. Event reason, when we discussed about manage of job pay structure, we have also told. I also told that dynamic role, workflow and event reason, they are foundation objects. When I go into manage of job pay structure, and when I go here, where we have already discussed about if you remember, we have already discussed about location. Location we have already discussed, right? Here, when you scroll down, you have an event reason also. When I select the event reason here as a new hire, you can see the same. It will be coming here because it has been configured in manage of job pay structure. When this record is being configured in manage of job pay structure, then only we can able to, while hiring, we can able to select that particular option. Well, my question is, we are marking this in country and region. How weird the country is in India. I mean the reason is new hire. If you're picking this country and you can only do new hire, you cannot do because the reason is new hire. We can add multiple event reasons. We added it. We can also add multiple event reasons. I think I understand. Got. Here, this is the basic thing which we have selected. Now going into the salutation, first name, middle name, last name. Here, these are the sections name, information, biographic information sections. In the coming sessions, I will explain to you how these fields are defined. That is related to the employee related field. We have only seen how the records are created for the foundation MNDF. After creating the foundation and MDF, we went into the manage data and we created a position. After creating a position, in the position we try to map up all the organization structure for creating a position. Once the position is created, we are going for hiring a person. Salutation, I'm taking something. And then we are going with. Let me take. And control region, I'm taking. This is a mandatory field. We can ignore this. And patch ID, although it is a mandatory field, I can take. Username, we can take. And nationality, I'm not taking. I can able to ignore it. I can click on continue. Now you can see here, identity section, it has been completed. We are into personal information. In the personal information, date of birth. we can able to take date of birth. Let me take some date of birth here. Then I'm not taking anything. I can add some for adding the data. I can add some email ID, business email. And I can add some phone number. Phone number. Phone number I'm adding. And address. Let me take. I'm not taking anything. I can click on continue. Now you can see. Personal information is also completed. Now we are into the job information. We have selected, created a position. We need to search if our position code is reflecting or not. It's falling down. Can you see our position code is showing here, which we have created right now? I will select this position. Once I select this position, can you see here? Company, business unit, division, department, location, call center, everything will be auto-populated because that is connected with the position. Got. Job was updated. Only just see the mandatory fields. Anything if it has been missing now. And there are also 6 more fields are there. Not taking anything on the job relation. Pay grade is required. Pay grade. After this, again we can continue. Now I think the another section is also completed. That is job information. We are into compensation. pay group. Here I will test N6. Now we can see here we have a submit button. Got activated. I can equal to submit. If you had created some pay component under recurring pay component, that will be also showing here. How it will be showing that? Only I told you. After creating the pay component, if you want to add that pay component and you want to specify the amount and the currency. If the pay component is not reflecting, that is because the pay component is not added in the country region in managed data. Got? That only I told you in advance to be safe. Because I'm not taking this because it is not a mandatory. But if you want to have a proper data with components and everything, then you can use it. It takes some couple of seconds. It is being done. The hire date for Santosh Kumar, it is showing. View profile. Click on view profile. When you are done the UDF, you are not having these details. Right, you can see. Now, when we have done with the add new employee, we have all the details updated. Right, whichever field with your filter. Can you see here? And also one more thing. Here also you can see all the information should be there. And then when you go up here also in the action also, you can see here these options also start populating. Termination change outcome. All this in UDF is not populating. Right. Even for badges also. You can go. I told you, you can go from here also. Otherwise, you can go from here also. Can you see here? View patch. Now, if you want to see the org structure also, because I have not selected any supervisor, if you go here, you can click on the org structure. Now, when you give some supervisor above you, it will be showing. For example, if I am just opening somebody as in the myth band. When I am just going for this, I am going to the org chart. Here you can see under the two Ola there. Right. To whom he is reporting. I can also go and see. This is the dummy data which I am just showing you. When you create your data with a managing director or CEO, under that you have some sort in that way, you also need to associate it. While doing the hiring this with the active employee, you would see now one job relation. One option was there which I have not taken. There you can able to go and associate it. When I go here, I can go to the first one and I can go to change job info. Supervisor is not there, I am adding a supervisor. I can take something as 1st January, and when you scroll down, you can see no manager issues. Here, suppose let me add a ML and maybe some workflow will be there. Approval process, I think. Again, because the reason is that we need to add all those event results there. Where in the country we can. I have only added for new hire. In the demo system, we need to see because there may be some restriction. That is the reason we are only. The system is only taking 1-to-1 event results. Here, I am doing some changes here. Rather going here, you can also go. You can go from job action also. Otherwise, we can go from job information, but that is not a correct process. When you are going on a real-time basis, all the end users should always go with action. When I just want to edit it. When I am going and doing it from the UI, it will not go. It will not take you for the approval process, event result. That is required. But the thing is that from the vendor side, they have only given you the restriction to add 1-to-1 basis. If I go again here and I go here and I will go to manage data because that plus sign is not working when I just try to add up. Here there is a plus sign which is not working actually. This plus sign should have to in real time. It used to work. We can have multiple event results. Now it is not working. I can give data change. How you can see here, the options are there for adding the pay components. Similarly, here also country, region and saving it. Now again, when I go here, I am going to scroll down. I need to cancel it and then I can able to apply it again. But I can able to try. Let me try it again. Let me try it again. That is some issue with the event result. We need to check on. But once it has been done, then the pulp, why I am showing you that manager, will be reflecting and we can able to go and see that org structure. We are going and seeing the org structure right now. Above him, we cannot able to go and see because we have not mapped the supervisor. And under him, if we are adding some other team members, then we can able to do during the hiring process. Got it. In today's session, we have done for import and export and for manage data for creating the records for the MDF object. Then, after that, we have went on creating the position and how the position is mapped with the various organization structure, and then we have done with the third method of hiring, that is the also creating the record for the HR data, that is for with the help of Aglu employee, which is a tool associated with employees. We have seen how to go for the hiring. Now you can able to go and create your own structure and you can do your hiring without using any dummy data from the system. It sounds good. That is the reason this part I just completed in here. Whenever we are going with any other topics, you can able to do the test on your own data, rather going with the system data, the dummy data. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.